Hold it! What is happening? Okay, so to explain my reasoning behind this drop, we have to go back to a couple of days ago. So when I was transporting one of the pillars, it broke on me, and obviously that's a little bit frustrating, but then I realized that it was going to be a massive hassle to try and connect all the pillars up at the top without them breaking constantly. So I decided to remove all of the gray, smaller pillars on the outside and then attach it up at the top so then the pillars would be able to stand by themselves, and then attach all of the gray pillars lastly, probably even when the other pillars are on Mumbo's base already, so we will have like the full triangle pillars thing all on Mumbo's base before we actually put in the other gray ones. So I had to remove all the gray pillars first, and I thought that the most satisfying way to do that would be in a beautiful drop. So we have the footage, so let's roll it again and enjoy that satisfaction. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that slow-mo, but here is the carnage from that drop, and now I just have to go through and organize this all out, because obviously we don't want this big mess, so I'm going to have to do that with most of the pillars, because I have taken most of them down. There's one over there and one over there. So I'll organize out all these pillars, clean it up a little bit, and then probably attach the main structure back together. And then I will take a look at Studio to see how all of it connects up, and we'll go from there. So let's clean up this mess. Okay, so it's been a couple of days since the last clip, and now I have all of the pillars organized and all of the little gray pillars organized as well. So now all of that is done, and that did take a little bit while than expected, but I guess that's kind of expected, you know, it takes longer than you think. So now I think I'm gonna do a little bit of decorating of the pillars, so if I reach over here, I'll use a bunch of like tiles and like these round tiles, so I'll be using lots of those, be putting them all along the pillars, make them look a lot nicer, and then after that I'll attach them all up together. So let's jump into a super quick time lapse. So far I have just completed this one side, and in fact I've only completed 2 sections out of the 3 of this one side, just to kind of test how this would look with all of these studs and other colors on the pillars. And you know, I think it looks better overall, but I do think I probably put a little bit too much on, and I'll probably clean up this busyness a little bit more. And obviously we still got to remember that the other gray pillars are going on the outside here, so that might give a nice border. And also we also got to remember that it's like the pillar on the end here, there are going to be a lot, and I mean like an absolute ton of these plant parts on them. But again, I'm probably not going to do them all random along, and I still got to think about this a little bit. But they'll probably be kind of like in Mumbo's base, how there's like a whole bunch in like corner sections and like there, like where plants would grow, like that would make sense. So I still got a bunch of work to do on these. Oh yeah, and I have a Bricklink order coming that has much more parts and a lot more tiles, so to make these a lot smoother and a lot like the rest of the build. So that's coming in a bricklink order, so whatever you see now and whatever I finish at the end of the episode probably won't be like an absolutely like complete design, but it is definitely an improvement, so I guess I'll go ahead and do something similar to this on the other two sides and also the top layer there, so let's go. Okay, so now I have all three sides done with all of these nice looking decorations, and I have a question for you guys. Do you prefer this version on the left more or the one on the bottom right? Because the top one is kind of the same as the left. And the difference between them is these ones are the ones that I did first. It was kind of random and scattering a bunch of these 1x1 bricks or plates all over the place. And this one, I was actually thinking a lot more about how everything would work together. And I did a lot more color blending and like making sure that colors matched up with other colors. So an example of that here would be like all this green like coming down in this kind of diagonal line. And that's sort of to symbolize like vines kind of creeping up and maybe even cracking this light bluish gray part like apart. So yeah, there's a lot better gradients and stuff on this version than that one. So tell me which one you like more. I definitely think I'm leaning more towards this one, but they both look pretty good. So now that we have all of these decorations on, I am gonna get to work and hopefully figure out how to attach those top sections up there. So hopefully in the next clip, I'll have all of these pillars attached together in like a big square, and hopefully it looks good. So let's jump ahead.
One eternity later.
Holy cow, this is looking absolutely amazing, phenomenal even. It's looking so epic. And you know, there's only one thing to say about this. I am absolutely chuffed to bits. So as you can see, I got in like all of the pillars except for the top section. And now I do actually have the top section done. It is sitting right over there. So there's the top section with the chariot on it and the heart dangling down below. And it is like actually dangling like with string. So you can see it wobbling back and forth there. And there is something a little bit funky with the top section. And that is that the gray pillars, these small ones on the inside, I took out, and that is because the gap in between them was super small and you would not have been able to see in the heart at all. So here's a picture with them in, and as you can see, it just kind of looks silly, and it definitely looks a lot better, at least in my opinion, with these out. But if you have a different opinion, of course, leave it in the comments. So off to the left there, you can see those are the pillars that I took out. But turning back to the main mock, wow. I absolutely love how this looks, and now, of course, in between episodes, I am going to get all of those tan parts and put them in between the pillars, so then I can get all of that done as well. Oh yeah, and you may be wondering why I didn't put the top part on, and that is because I still need to do a lot more decorating, like on each of the levels with some bamboo and other plant parts and stuff, and I'm waiting for those parts in the bricklink order. As well as the speaker that I'm putting inside of there, I want to keep it charged for as long as possible so then it can last as long as possible inside the mock. And when I put the top section, I wouldn't be able to get the speaker in and out. Oh yeah, and here's a picture of me holding the top section right above the other sections. So it looks pretty cool, and it does actually look a little bit funky. And I think that's because they're not all attached together, so the angles are a little bit off, and also the top section is a lot taller because, again, everything's not pressed down into the right position. But man, we are getting so close to completion. Again, all that's left is the chains. So if you liked the video, please leave a thumbs up. It'd be greatly appreciated. I spent a long time on this episode, like probably over 20 hours. So it took a long time, so please leave a like. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you do that before you go. And I cannot wait for the end of this mock. And I think next episode is actually going to be the last episode. Oh wait, that reminds me. I have a question for you guys. I am thinking, and now this is probably not going to come true, but I am thinking of doing a stream, like a live stream of finishing up the mock. So once we already have the top on and all that and the chains complete, I'm thinking of doing like a final live stream where we do like touch-ups on the mock or whatever. So tell me what you think about that, and it probably won't happen because I gotta figure everything out, and it probably won't be the best stream ever, but you know, tell me if you would like to see that. So with that said, Gigahertz Productions, out.